All right. We're going to go over some of the rules again, just because we haven't got actively doing this. The special requirements are the same as level 10. One acro series with 2 saltos directly or indirectly connected in a 3-flight series, or 2 directly connected saltos. They can be the same or different for the special requirement. You have to have 3 different saltos within the exercise. Also have to have the dance passage with a minimum of 2 different group 1 elements. One must be a leap with a 180-degree cross or side split. Sometimes that gets us even in age group because we forget they have to be different. But the last salto connection or the last isolated salto has to be a minimum of a C. And the only 2 skills that we have that are different are the front pike salto is an A, where in DP it's a B, and a ring, stag ring, either one, full turn is a D. We have specific composition, and these are the only compositions that can be taken in the NCAA program. A lack of variety and choice of elements, and this one's very specific. Dance bonus from group 1 or 2, so it can either be a D or a connective value bonus. And a variety of acro direction. They have to have a forward or side and a back. Each one's 1/10. Insufficient distributions, 0.05. Insufficient use of floor area is 0.05. We don't really see that too often. And the UTL up to the level is 1/10, as it is with the other events. There are 2 parts required for all routines: a 1E acro or dance, or you can have 2 different Ds, one of which must be acro. So they couldn't have 2 dance skills. They could have 2 D acros. They can only have one of the Ds as a dance. An acro series with a C or better salto, and I underlined series because that means that they have to have 3 flight skills connected. That's what a series is defined as, and one of them has to be a C. And then they also have to have an acro dismount or with a minimum C salto in connective value or a D. So they have to have a bonus in their last pass. That's part 1. The other part that you have to look at is if a routine only has 2 tumbling passes, one of them has to be a minimum of a D element, and the other pass has to have a D element or 2/10 CV in the second. These are the connection bonuses that are different from level 10. The first one is a turn and jump in either order. So the example is the main thing that we see most often. That is the double turn on one foot to a popa. I mean, that was what we used to always see. It is not permitted in level 10 in that order. It is in NCAA. But I think that most of the people don't do it because it's very easy to lose your balance on the double turn and then both feet move. So therefore it would not be a direct connection. But if they do it and do it well, it's a 10th bonus. And the other differences in mixed series are the Acro-dance acro. That is, a dance element must follow a direct acro connection which includes at least 2 acro saltos. One must be a C. So if they have 2 directly connected acro saltos and then do a dance element, which is a minimum A, and then follow it with a minimum A salto, that whole pass gets an extra 10th bonus. Just a note that the C acro salto prior to the dance element does not have to be directly connected to it. So they could do a C acro directly connected to an A and then an A dance followed by an A salto. So the only variation here is that the C acro does not have to be the one that's directly connected to the dance element. All right, so what do you think? Round off, whip back, back handspring, back salto, double twist, straddle jump, front tuck, A, C, B, A. You'll see here there is no bonus since the 2 saltos prior to the straddle jump are not directly connected. She did the whip, then a back handspring. So it was a whip A, back handspring, then the C. Yes, the C is connected to the straddle jump, but the two acros have to be directly connected. So no bonus for this one. Here's the next example. Back salto layout 1.5, C, front layout half, to a tuck jump, to a front tuck salto, C, B, A, A. And yes, there is a 10th bonus given for this one. And I put this because I wanted you to see that the C did not have to be directly connected to the dance skill, but it does have to be directly connected to the other acro. Now, what I do want to mention here is we have our brain cells so that we see that dance skill and we know that breaks the series. Therefore, the front tuck at the end, in this case, would be the final salto, and it's not a C, therefore they don't have the special requirement. But in this case, since this is a permissible combination for NCAA, this specific bonus combination is an exception and will fulfill the dismount special requirement and the dismount UTL. Only this special combination. This is an example 3, a front salto pike step out, A, round off, back salto double twist, C, pike jump, back handspring, back tuck. Not sure I could ever see this done, but I wanted to make sure that I made sure you knew that the two salters were not directly connected, as well as the back tuck was not directly connected to the dance skill. And in order to get this 10th bonus, the two saltos prior to the dance skill have to be connected, and the A salto has to be directly connected to the dance skill. All right, these are connection bonuses that are different from level 10, aside from the one that I just gave you. Bonus combination of BB, they both have to be different. So a front lay should automatically trigger to you that does not get bonus in NCAA. They have to be different. Front lay half, that's fine. A C plus C indirectly connected is a +2. And a C plus C directly connected is +3. And then another difficulty bonus that is different from level 10 is a double flipping salto or an E acro in the last pass. So even though a triple twist is not a double flipping salto, if it's in the last pass, it automatically gets a +1. And I purposely wrote double flipping, even though that is not a term that we use regularly, but I wanted to make sure you knew that it was a double back, double saltoing. A double twist does not work there, except for if it's an E, okay? And I just stuck this one in because I wanted to make sure that you were aware that in NCAA, they cannot color in the corner. That I think you're all aware of. That's even true with the others. But they can put a chalk arc in the corners. That's permissible. Landing mats in the corner, this is different, that overlap the boundary lines must be marked with tape, not chalk. So even if you're in a hurry and the meet's running late and you go, that's fine. No, it isn't. They have to use tape, not chalk. And 1 mat per tumbling pass or a leap combination. And basically, I put it in bold there. They may not punch off of 1 mat and land on another. The exception is when it says 1 mat per tumbling pass, the exception to that part is sting mats are permitted on the floor, but they count as 2 mats if stacked, no more than 2 mats on the floor at one time. So when I said previously that 1 mat per tumbling pass, the exception is that you can put a sting mat on top of another mat. And even though it counts as 2 mats for the rule that no more than 2 can be on the floor at one time, it is permissible to have a sting mat on top of another mat per tumbling pass. All right, here's our first routine. On this young lady, she did a front lay to a Rudy, front 1.5, BD +2. Then she did a tour half. But then she took step chassé into her wolf. She was trying to do a wolf 1.5, but you'll see we'll run it again, you'll see that she did a wolf full. And then she does a little jump full turn, kind of double stag, then a round off 1.5 to a front lay for a 2/10. So she has a D, 1D plus 4/10 CV for a 9.9 start value. She's missing a dance bonus. Again, I think she was trying to, well, I know it was obvious she was doing a wolf 1.5 attempt. And then missing the UTL, 1/10. And then I took a footwork deduction, just a 1/2-tenth, and execution of 0.75 and with an 8.9 score. I didn't write the A with the round off. Yeah, there you go. So she has 5/10, 9.4 plus 5 is a 9.9 then. So I will tell you that the 0.05 I had for the front layout was for body position. Then the Rudy, I took 1/10, the leg separation. Then the tour half, the lack of split. Then the attempt at a wolf full, it really wasn't a full, it wasn't a 1.5, it was kind of in between. Plus the leg is low and the landing is out of control. And the last tumbling pass, it was body posture, amplitude, and landing. Total of 0.45. All right, here is the next one, routine number 6, but it's your second one. Let's do the value parts first. She does double back tuck D, switch full D to a straddle jump B, then a round off back layout half to a front layout BB. Then she does a round off 1.5 to a front tuck. So she goes CA. So she has 2 Ds and 3 connective values. From a 9.4, that comes to a 9.9. Now the switch full had a couple issues, but she probably satisfies enough of it. It's slightly insufficient, but other than that. And then I took a 1/2-tenth of footwork. I think you might have even gone a little further with that one. I took a 1/2 in distribution because she started with a DD and then goes BB and then CA. So I took a 1/2 in distribution and 4/10 in execution. But I see here I did not put in, I took a concentration pause deduction prior to the last tumbling pass. I just forgot to write it in here. So it came out to a 9.4 score. So we're going to watch the routine again. I want to make one little comment about landings on floor. They're a little different than the landings for dismounts, because you really want to, we want all of them to be under control, but I think the biggest deduction on floor is just the lack of control. They're allowed to take a step into a lunge, but that step has to be controlled. So I think this is where on all three of hers, I had control on landings for a half a tenth. This will be our third routine, but it's number 8. All right, this young lady has a 10-0 start value. Starts with a triple with a 1/10 deduction for, it's hard to tell on video. It's easier to see in real life whether her legs were crossed, but she did have a landing control problem. And then she does her dance pass, which is the tour half to the split full, and CC +1. Each one has a half a tenth deduction for feet and split. And then the 1.5 to the front layout, CB for +2, with a half tenth for amplitude on the second skill. And just stop here a minute and remember that the second skill and 2 directly connected skills have to be equal to, the hip height has to be equal to or higher than the first one. So this one tended to be a little bit low. And then she finishes with a double back pike D and the body posture on landing 0.05 for an execution of 3/10 and a 9/7 score. Oh, we're going to watch it again. Going to go on to the 4th routine, which is number 10 for me. So she opened up with a really nice high double back pike and unfortunately fell on it. Forget the out of bounds, that we're not taking that into consideration, even though obviously her score would be a tenth lower. Then she does her dance passage of a switch side, which is over rotated, which then makes the popa, and it made it straddle 3/4. So therefore she's missing the dance bonus. And then she does a front handspring to a front full front layout, CB +2, and a front handspring to a Rudy D. This is a good example too, where she's got the 2 Ds, so therefore she satisfies the UTL, even though she fell on the first one, didn't get credit for it. She did do it. But she has a 9/7 start with the front full to the front lay, and then the Rudy, and then 8/10 of execution, 1/10 for no dance bonus. So she comes up with an 8/8 start value. So when you watch it again, pay particular attention to the switch side that is over rotated, and then that where she starts her popa from. So you'll see where we came up with that.
I have a question about deductions for back handsprings and execution on the double back.
I actually thought that her double back was very high, and the fall was because she didn't open it in time. She remained pike. So I didn't have any deductions on the double back other than the fall.
And there's another one. Did you take chest bit down a bit on the first pass prior to the fall?
No, I did not.
The question was about bent arms on the back handspring, to clarify.
If I really see them, I did not notice those, and I'll go back and look at it again, but I did not keen in on that one. And I was one of the lower scores on the group score. So, no.
Thank you. You can go.
All right. This is our last one. Pretty nice routine. I think you would all have to agree with that. She really, she used her entire body. She kind of brought you right into the routine. So for a start value, she opens up with an E. Then she does a Rudy to a back layout, DA +2, switch half to a wolf full, which I thought left nothing to our imagination, +1, triple at the very end for an E. So she definitely has the 10-0 start value there. Obviously, she's fine with UTL and choice because in balance, distribution. In deductions, 0.05 for the full in, control on the landing, and then nothing on the second pass, and then the switch half to the wolf full, a half on each one. The switch full could have been a little more split, and then her triple at the end. On the video, it looks like the legs are slightly crossed. It's hard to tell, they're kind of blurred, but 0.05 for that. And then if I could slow-mo the ring leap at the very end, I just amazed she had all that energy and she still could do one that was a 180 split. So that's the final routine.
There was one comment to note on the script that the last pass, because it's an E, gets the additional difficulty bonus.
You're right. Yeah, she should have had a +1 right here. We're just looking at landings. This is a reminder of the different landings, the slight hop. These are all things you know. And we talked about control coming out of the acro. All right, so here's number 1. You can see a difference. And 210. large step and lack of control. So you really could have been 2.25